Now on CoastTV News.
The rain from last night is clearing out. It's a damp start to our Monday, but a winter-like blast is making a beeline towards Delmarva. I'll have details on when wind chills will feel like the teens and 20s.
Home business battle in Lewis. The city could make big changes tonight after more than a year of debate.
Training to save man's best friend. From airway management to wound packing, first responders in Ocean View are getting a hands-on training to save four-legged partners.
Summer streets under review. City officials in Rehoboth Beach could consider making the concert season road closures permanent after a busy summer downtown.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Good morning, I'm Grace Eckerly. And good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Grace. Good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Matt Pensick is on assignment. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour on this Monday morning.
Yes, and a Monday coming off of a beautiful weather weekend on the coast. It was gorgeous.
70 degrees yesterday. It was in the high 60s. I loved the weather. And then we're back to reality with Chris's headline saying freezing temperatures.
Oh, that is kind of brutal.
Chris has to bring us back to reality somehow. It is November, Chris.
It was too good to be true to get 70s in November.
Yes. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Lisa and Grace. Yes, it was an enjoyable weekend. Temperatures were in those upper 60s near 70s. And yeah, today is going to be a kind of a transition day, as we've been telling you over the past week. That winter blast is on its way. We had some heavy rain last night and even a rumble of thunder that pushed over the areas. You can see the radar over the last 12 hours, and that was all associated with a cold front that is now pushing off the coast. We have a few residual showers remaining from Ocean City down through Chicotee, but for the most part, we are going to be drying out through the morning, so it's a rather damp start, but that cold air lurks back to the west. You see this upper level low here spinning across the Great Lakes. You can see some lake effect snow getting going, and that cold air is pushing towards the east. You can see temperatures right now are in the 50s along the coast, but look at those temperatures back off to the west. We're down to freezing Charleston and Wheeling, and that cold air is pushing to the east. Right now we're at 55 degrees in Ocean City. Temperatures are 53 Rehoboth, 52 in Georgetown, 51 in Seaford. Now the winds have shifted more out of the northwest. Winds are calm now, but those winds will gust upwards of 25, 30 throughout the day today. Now the temperatures are going to be a bit deceiving for today. We're going to hover right around the lower 50s through the morning, and then they're going to fall into the 40s. Winds are going to pick up through the afternoon and into the overnight, and a winter-like feel for Veterans Day. And by this time tomorrow morning, unfortunately, we're going to be dealing with wind chills in the teens and 20s. So as I mentioned, we're going to dip a bit here. So we're going to hover right around the 50-degree mark through the morning and into the afternoon. A mostly cloudy start, and then we will see some breaks in those clouds through the afternoon with the wind shifting out of the northwest, gusting as high as 30 miles an hour. Well, I'll let you know how long the cold air is going to stick around in that full 7-day forecast a little later on. Grace.
Thank you, Chris. And our top story this morning, an ongoing debate surrounding home businesses in Lewis. According to the city's meeting agenda, they may change the rules about these home occupations tonight. The debate in Lewis has been going on for over a year, and last November we actually spoke with the woman at the heart of this debate. She wanted to run a dog grooming business in her basement, but said that because kennels and groomers are roped into one category under Lewis code and kennels are not permitted, she was denied a license.
This whole process has affected my life because now I have to travel back to Virginia to my old grooming salon and start working there, and I travel there quite frequently back and forth, and I'm away from my family. I'm away from the American Legion that I'm a really huge member of.
Tonight's meeting could change the animal kennel part of that city's code to exclude grooming, as well as changes to other sections. The draft ordinance also categorizes home occupations into no impact, low impact, or potential impact based on factors like number of employees and parking.
Happening today, affordable and workforce housing are growing housing types on Delmarva, and Rehoboth Beach could be getting involved. Information is set to be presented during a meeting later this morning. City Manager Taylor Tedder says the city could use these housing types.
Yeah, we definitely have a need for workforce housing in the city. We have a lot of seasonal employees, and of course the high cost of housing in this area is really an issue for some of those workers.
The Delaware State Housing Authority will give a presentation to Rehoboth Beach commissioners during a special meeting later this morning. The special meeting will follow the 9 a.m. workshop meeting. We are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. Senators overnight reaching a tentative deal to reopen the government. This just in, a procedural vote passed 60-40, with 8 Democrats crossing over to support it. The bipartisan agreement still needs a final Senate vote and then will need to clear the House.
NBC's Alice Barr shows us how the full process is expected to take days.
This morning, compromise in the Senate, moving the nation closer to ending the longest ever government shutdown.
The motion upon reconsideration is agreed to.
A group of Democrats negotiating with Republicans agreeing to fund the government through the end of January and certain departments like agriculture through next September, ensuring SNAP low-income food benefits would extend that long and end a growing crisis over food access.
That was being threatened to be taken away from them as long as this went on. That's crazy.
The deal would also reverse shutdown layoffs of federal workers and guarantee all federal employee back pay. But what it does not include has Democrats divided. Nothing on health care or extending Affordable Care Act subsidies.
Over 20 million Americans are going to see at least a doubling in their premiums in the Affordable Care Act.
Democrats who voted yes say tying a government funding vote to the health care issue simply wasn't working. This agreement includes the promise of a Senate vote on the Obamacare subsidies by mid-December, before they expire at the end of the year. And Democrats argue if Republicans vote it down,
they can own the disastrous premium increases that will continue to rise. They will own the fact that Americans across this country are going to lose access to health care.
President Trump and Republican leadership projecting confidence.
It looks like we're getting close to the shutdown ending.
I'm optimistic.
Though several key steps remain, most notably securing passage in the House, where many Democrats are already voicing opposition. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
New this morning, the Ocean View Police Department is hosting a training for emergencies involving working dogs, happening this morning from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Ocean View Police will host a live canine diesel high-fidelity canine medical simulator demonstration. Police say the training will let participants perform realistic trauma care on a lifelike dog model that includes airway management, wound packing, and hemorrhage control. The free demonstration is open to canine handlers, search and rescue teams, emergency medics, and veterinarians. It all takes place this morning at the Ocean View Police Department.
Tonight, Milford City Council is expected to review 2 funding requests from the police department. According to the agenda, Milford Police Department is asking for an additional $8,041 for exterior lighting upgrades at the department. Police say design changes to add landscape uplighting and a new electrical circuit could cause the initial quote for the project to increase. Also, police want to move forward with plans to build a new evidence processing bay behind the department. The agency says the project carries a budget of almost $2.6 million.
Happening today in Rehoboth Beach, officials are set to review the traffic closures put in place for the summer concert series. And according to a presentation, what it would take to make a permanent practice. The presentation shows that currently parking is prohibited starting at 6 p.m. on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays for 39 concerts over 3 months. Photos show how crowds will fill in the area, even into the road. The presentation says to formalize the closure, the city would need to create a new parking zone in its systems, amend codes, and add 1 handicap space. We're just getting started in this hour of CoastTV News Today.
Coming up after the break, Rehoboth considers Bullard bids. We'll tell you why the city is discussing the change and why some business owners have concerns.
And some unique housing development details. We'll tell you what Georgetown leaders say needs to change to create cottage housing.
And holiday food rollout. We'll tell you about these 2 new offerings from big food companies that are based on holiday favorites. And there is First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobuono in our weather center. We will check in with him after the break.
Good Monday morning, Delmarva. Somewhat of a damp start out there this morning after we had overnight rain and even a few rumbles of thunder. Right now in Dover, we're at 52 degrees. Winds are calm as we await cold air that's pushing towards the coast. We have a few leftover showers pushing off the coast from Fenwick Island down through Ocean City and Assateague, but for the most part, drier air is filtering southward as the cold front now extends offshore. But you can see that colder air back off to the west. You can see the lake effect snow beginning across much of the upper Great Lakes region. Temperatures right now relatively steady from the coast to our inland locations. We're at 51 in Milford, 52 Laurel to 52 in Ocean Pines. Wind flow out of the northwest, though winds are going to be picking up late this morning through the afternoon. So we begin the day under mostly cloudy skies, damp start 47, but those winds are really going to be picking up through the day today. Now temperatures are going to hover right around the lower 50s and then fall through the 40s in the afternoon. You see where we're at by tomorrow. That's a high for tomorrow. Lower to mid 40s, and it's going to feel even colder with the winds. I'll detail that more coming up in my 7-day forecast here in a minute. Grace.
Thank you, Chris. This weekend, BB's Milton Health Center welcomed Delaware Health and Social Services Secretary Christian Lank Young for a flu shot and COVID-19 shot. According to the healthcare system, Delaware's top health official toured the Route 16 facility with Dr. Tam and other BB leaders discussing BB's growth and access to care in rural Sussex County.
Our own Leah Rizzo, the fabulous host of Coast Life, volunteered at the Fundraiser Saturday night. The event raises money for the Murr Institute, which rescues marine mammals on our coast.
This is causing a lot of conversation in our newsroom this morning. Taco Bell is rolling out a Mountain Dew Baja Blast pie. It's a key lime style pie that gets an infusion of the chain's fan favorite soda. And Taco Bell says the unique treat fits well with Friendsgiving, maybe, where it says anything traditional gets a creative twist. The chain says that the pie is available for a limited time, in store only, and sold only as whole pies for $19.99.
Well, Kraft is unveiling a new flavor of its mac and cheese just ahead of Thanksgiving. It's apple pie flavored mac and cheese. Kraft says it combines the flavor of its signature boxed mac and cheese with warm notes of apple, cinnamon, and brown sugar. Kraft's apple pie flavored mac and cheese is only available for a limited time and only at Walmart. Make sure you grab some, Chris.
Oh, I love apple pie and I love macaroni and cheese, but not together. Well, we are going to see some breezy conditions as colder air begins to filter into the region beginning this afternoon. And yes, Veterans Day is going to feel more like, well, a day in December or January. We'll talk more about that coming up right after the break.
The time is now 5:16 and we are taking a live look outside at Ocean City this morning. Chris, we are coming off of a weekend that felt like early spring. We're back to reality, maybe even feeling like late December temperatures the next couple of days.
Yeah, especially by this time tomorrow morning. It's going to feel very cold, and yeah, it's going to be a shock to the system, especially after those milder temperatures we had over the weekend. And we even had a few rumbles of thunder late last night, and the leftover residual showers now linger from Ocean City down through Assateague Island. This is all associated with a cold front that's now extending offshore. Now, the cold air is lagging behind a little, but it's not far behind. You can see this upper level low spinning over the Great Lakes, producing lake effect snow beginning to start there along many of the Great Lakes, and that cold air is sinking southward into our region. You can see 22 Minneapolis, 26 in Chicago, and that lobe of colder air is going to be advancing eastward through the day today. We're at 52 right now in Salisbury, so it's a rather damp start and a mild start at that. We're at 52 Milton, 49 in Harrington. We'll drop a couple more degrees here and then rise a degree or two and then fall into the 40s through the afternoon. Winds are out of the northwest right now, sustained anywhere between 5 to 15 miles an hour. We do have a gale warning up off the Delaware coast. This runs through 12 a.m. Wednesday, and then we also have that extending from Ocean City down through Chickatee as well as along the Chesapeake, and those run through Tuesday evening. Now, we do have a freeze warning. Now, we're expecting temperatures to drop below the freezing mark from most locations, but the growing season has ended across much of Delmarva. That is why Accomack County is under that freeze warning for tonight. Now, temperatures, as I mentioned, are going to hover kind of around the 50-degree mark here over the next few hours and then fall into the 40s. Going to be deceiving because it's going to be cloudy, and then those winds are going to be picking up out of the northwest, gusting to 30 miles an hour. We're partly cloudy overnight and a cold start to the day. We dip below freezing Some upper 20s, but the main story is going to be those wind chills, and by tomorrow afternoon, a blustery day as we struggle to get out of the low to mid 40s. Winds today out of the northwest gusting 25 to 30 miles an hour, and then by tomorrow afternoon, we're gusting to near 40 miles an hour. So the story really is going to be what it feels like to when the wind hits our skin, and by tomorrow morning, we're going to have wind chills in the teens to 20s. So that is certainly going to be a shock. And then by the afternoon, it's only feeling like the mid 30s. It is going to be sunny, but again, very cold out there. Average high 61. So we're going to be below that today and much below that as we go into Tuesday. So it's going to feel more like winter. But the good news is it's a short-lived cold spell because we're going to be back up into the mid to upper 50s and pretty dry through the remainder of the week. We have high pressure building in and a pretty uneventful weather pattern as we go from mid to late week. We're at 53 today, turning breezy with those gusts to 30 miles an hour, 29 overnight. Partly cloudy, a cold and breezy night, and yes, 45 for our Tuesday for our Veterans Day. So if you're making your way out for any services, dress warm and make sure you dust off that winter coat. 57 by Wednesday. We're up to 54 by Thursday. And look at that, we stay nice and sunny and dry through the remainder of the week. And then we approach near the 60-degree mark by next Sunday. Grace.
Thank you, Chris. A local giveaway is helping families to get ready for the colder weather. And kids could go home with a brand new coat this weekend. Organizers say that families can stop by the Greenwood Public Library for free winter coats for kids thanks to a partnership with Operation Warm. The library says the giveaway taking place on November 18th will be from 3:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and coats will be handed out while supplies last.
Georgetown leaders are expected to consider adding cottage housing developments off of East Market Street. The goal of Little Living LLC, a Delaware-based nonprofit, is to provide 22 affordable housing units to people in the area. But before all of that happens, Georgetown needs to amend the current urban residential 1 zone to allow cottage housing developments. Monthly rent for the 1-bedroom homes will be $950, 2 bedrooms will be $1,100, and 3 bedrooms $1,200. All of them include utilities and internet access. And we spoke with one board member and the secretary of Little Living who says the nonprofit has received loans and other donations to help fund this project.
All this is meant to fit in within their existing income so that they can then spend the rest of their money on health care, automobiles, taking their kids to events and so forth.
Important to note, there was a public hearing for this idea on October 27th. Leaders in Georgetown will meet tonight at 6:45.
Up next on CoastTV News today, Rehoboth Beach considers bollard bills. We'll tell you how the city says the changes can improve safety near the busy area. We'll be right back. Happening today, Rehoboth Beach is expected to consider awarding a contract to install bollards behind the bandstand and in front of the bathrooms on Rehoboth Avenue. The city also wants to build a swing gate that will go at the entrances before the bandstand circle. The city cites safety for the plans, but local businesses say they feel shut out by the plans, even starting a petition against it.
I think it's just common sense. If you're going to do something that's going to affect the businesses, you should, you probably made your decision up, but you need to at least talk to people and find out what the businesses think.
According to city documents, a company called Concentric Security says it can do part of this project, but not all of it, for $612,000, and that contract is set to be discussed today at 9 a.m.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com/signup and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
Good Monday morning, Delmarva. We had a cold front that pushed through overnight, producing rain and even a few rumbles of thunder. Now we have a few residual showers left over along the coast, but we are drying out. 54 in Ocean City, and it's going to be a rather breezy day today as that colder air filters in. We're going to hover right around the upper 40s to 50-degree mark through Ocean City and Fenwick Island. Those winds are going to be picking up out of the northwest, gusting to 30 miles an hour, mostly cloudy skies, and then will be partly cloudy through the evening. Cambridge, we're going to hover right in those upper 40s through the afternoon, but it's going to feel colder with those strong northwest winds coming off the bay, gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour, 48 by around your lunchtime. Congratulations to PJ Walker, Milford, Delaware, on winning an umbrella from Coast TV. And you can always get your latest forecast by calling our First Alert weather phone. Well, we're going to be dealing with wind chills in the teens and 20s come tomorrow morning. I'll detail that more coming up in the next half hour. Grace.
Thank you, Chris. And after the break on Coast TV News today, shutdown end in sight. We'll tell you about the potential deal that could reopen the government.
An affordable housing action will tell you how Rehoboth Beach leaders say they could learn more about the possibility for the city.
And home-based businesses debate. We'll tell you about possible changes to Lewis Code that could expand options for business owners. Coast TV News returns after the break.
Now on Coast TV News.
The rain from last night is clearing out. It's a damp start to our Monday, but a winter-like blast is making a beeline towards Delmarva. I'll have details on when wind chills will feel like the teens and 20s.
Home business showdown in Lewis. City leaders can make changes tonight after more than a year of back and forth over what people can do from their homes.
Rehoboth considers workforce housing. The Delaware State Housing Authority will brief city commissioners this morning on how the city could expand housing opportunities for local workers.
Life-saving lessons for canines in Ocean View. First responders are learning how to treat four-legged workers when every second counts.
This is Coast TV News Today.
Good morning. I'm Grace Zackerly. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Grace. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Matt Pensick is on assignment. Thank you for joining us. Now, Grace, we just talked about some funky, will I say, holiday collabs for food.
We have the Taco Bell Baja Blast pie.
Apple pie.
And we have the apple pie mac and cheese.
Yes.
I think we need to touch on another one. We have some weird Oreo flavors coming in. They announced some crazy Thanksgiving flavors. And Elisa, some of these are trying. So we have a regular pumpkin pie. I can get behind that caramel apple pie. That's all right.
Okay.
It's the other ones.
Turkey and stuffing, creamed corn flavored Oreos, sweet potato. I don't really think
it's the turkey and stuffing.
Yes.
That is the one that is so terrible.
I
Chris,
know.
what do you think?
I'm more of a classic guy. Just give me a nice piece of apple pie with a scoop of vanilla bean ice cream and I'm good to go. We had a nice round of showers and storms roll through the area overnight, all associated with a cold front. Now we have just a few lingering showers and drizzle primarily across Accomack County. Here's the cold front extending offshore, but the cold air is lagging behind a bit, but it's going to be arriving here shortly. As you can see, some lake effect snow beginning with that colder air streaming over the warmer Great Lakes, and all that cold air is pushing towards the east. And you can see here on our temperatures, we're at 54 Philadelphia, 52 Salisbury, but we are in the 30s back across portions of western Pennsylvania and Ohio. Right now, it's a damp start in Salisbury where we're at 52 degrees. Then we're going to begin drying out through the morning. Right now, we're at 55 in Lewis, 52 Millsboro, 49 the cool spot there in Harrington, and we are at 52 in Delmar. As that cold front pushed through, the winds have now shifted out of the northwest, and the winds are going to be picking up later this morning through the afternoon. Right now, we're seeing gusts anywhere between about 10 to 16 miles an hour, so the temperatures are going to be rising a degree or two through the morning and then falling through the 40s into the afternoon as that colder air works into the region. And by tomorrow, yes, it's going to feel like winter. We're going to struggle to get out of the 40s. And then by this time tomorrow, we're going to be seeing wind chills in the teens and 20s. So you're going to want to dust off that winter coat in the closet. Temperatures, as I mentioned, hovering right around the 50-degree mark through the morning. Then we'll fall through the 40s. It'll be a mostly cloudy day with breaks of sun through the afternoon with those winds coming out of the northwest. Coming up, we'll talk about how long the cold air is going to be sticking around in that full 7-day forecast. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris. Our top story this half hour, an ongoing debate surrounding home businesses in Lewis. According to the city's meeting agenda, they may change the rules about these home occupations tonight. The debate in Lewis has been going on for over a year. Last November, we actually spoke with the woman at the heart of all of this debate who wanted to run a dog grooming business in her basement, but said because kennels and groomers are roped into one category under Lewis Code and kennels are not permitted, she was denied a license. Tonight's meeting could change the animal kennel part of the city's code to exclude grooming as well as changes to other sections.
Happening today, affordable and workforce housing are growing housing types on Delmarva, and Rehoboth Beach could be getting involved. Information is set to be presented during a meeting later this morning. City Manager Taylor Tedder says that the city could use these housing types. The Delaware State Housing Authority will give a presentation to Rehoboth Beach commissioners during a special meeting later this morning. The special meeting will follow the 9 a.m. workshop meeting. Now taking a live look into Washington, D.C. today, as the longest government shutdown in U.S. history may be approaching the end. That's after the Senate voted to advance a stopgap funding bill. That was on Sunday night, and the chamber is set to work on its amendments to it today.
The legislation is bipartisan, but last night's vote squeaked past by a margin of 60-40. Amy Kiley shows us what's in the bill and the broader agreement around it.
The motion upon reconsideration is agreed to.
The government's a big step closer to reopening after the Senate voted to advance a stopgap funding bill last night. It's a compromise between centrist Democrats and Republicans. It does not extend expiring Obamacare subsidies, so many Democrats opposed it.
We must fight because a senior citizen cannot afford to pay $25,000 a year just for health insurance. We must fight to keep millions from financial ruin.
Republicans do agree to a vote on the subsidies by early next month.
We have senators, both Democrat and Republican, who are eager to get to work to address that crisis in a bipartisan way.
The bill funds much of the government through January. The broader deal has longer provisions for military construction and Veterans Affairs, the legislative branch, and agriculture. The plan funds SNAP through September.
People are hungry. And you can see also, sometimes in the kids' eyes, you can see their fear because they're afraid.
For federal workers, the agreement ensures shutdown back pay. It reverses recent mass firings and prohibits any more this fiscal year. If the plan becomes law, federal employees will get paid again. That could prevent scenarios like this around Thanksgiving.
They changed the flight, then they changed it again. Eventually it got canceled, and when we got to standby, there were like 30 other people on standby.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The Ocean View Police Department is hosting a training for emergencies involving working dogs happening this morning from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Ocean View Police will host a live canine diesel high-fidelity canine medical simulator demonstration. Police say the training will let participants perform realistic trauma care on a lifelike dog model, including airway management, wound packing, and hemorrhage control. The free demonstration is open to canine handlers, search and rescue teams, emergency medics, and veterinarians. It all takes place this morning at the Ocean View Police Department.
Tonight, Milford City Council is expected to review 2 funding requests from the police department. According to the agenda, Milford Police Department is asking for an additional $8,041 for the extra exterior lighting upgrades at the department. And police say the design changes to add landscape uplighting and new electrical circuits caused the initial quote for the project to increase. Also, police want to move forward with plans to build a new evidence processing bay behind the department. The agency says that the project carries a budget of almost $2.6 million.
Happening today in Rehoboth Beach, officials are set to review the traffic closures put in place for the summer concert series. And according to a presentation, what it would take to make it a permanent practice. The presentation shows that currently parking is prohibited starting at 6 p.m. on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays for 39 concerts over 3 months. Photos show how crowds fill the area even into the road. The presentation says to formalize the closure, the city would need to create a new parking zone in its systems, amend codes, and add 1 handicapped space.
Delaware Tech has officially opened the John and Elsie Williams House Museum and Conference Center in Millsboro. It honors one of Delaware's most respected political leaders. The restored 1927 home was donated by the couple's daughter, Blanche Baker, to preserve her parents' legacy of service and integrity. The museum highlights Senator John J. Williams' 24 years in the U.S. Senate and Elsie's community impact, while the new conference center will be available as a rental and host public events year-round. Today marks an important date in military history. On November 10th, 1775, John Adams drafted a resolution that created what was then known as the Continental Marines. The date is now observed as the birth date of the U.S. Marine Corps, and currently there are more than 200,000 active duty and reserve Marines sitting in the U.S.
And we have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, lessons learned after shipping tragedy. We'll tell you how precautions changed for commercial boaters after a huge shipwreck.
And tree interrupts traffic. We'll tell you about the debate over a pecan tree in Milton and what it has to do with a proposed Royal Farms. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
It's a damp Monday morning here on Delmarva after we had some overnight rain as we take a live look into Ocean City, 53 degrees, so a rather mild start. A few residual showers remain primarily across the southern portion of the peninsula down through portions of Accomack County. Cold front pushing off the coast. Right now we're holding in the 50s, 53 Rehoboth, 52 in Milton. We're at 48 in Harrington and 51 in Laurel. Now winds are relatively calm for the most part, but those wind gusts will be picking up through the latter part of the morning and certainly by the afternoon under mostly cloudy skies. We'll kind of hover around that 50-degree mark. We actually have seen our warmest temperatures so far today. They came just after midnight. The story is going to be that cold air filtering in tonight. We expect a hard freeze tonight into Tuesday morning, but the good news is it's a short-lived cold spell because we're going to be warming back up into the 50s later on in the week. I'll detail that more in its entirety coming up in the full 7-day forecast here in minutes. Elisa.
Developing news, Maryland State Police are continuing to investigate the death of an inmate at an Eastern Correctional Institution in Somerset County. Troopers say 36-year-old Ray Stephen Ostelamo was found unresponsive in his cell on Sunday morning and was later pronounced dead. Another inmate has been identified as a suspect, but no charges have been filed as the investigation continues.
Across Delmarva, a young child has died after a crash Saturday morning in East Newmarket, Maryland. That's according to Dorchester County Sheriffs. Dispatch calls say the 2-year-old girl was run over by a car. The Maryland State Police crash team is now helping sheriffs investigate what happened.
It's a big, rare tree in Milton, and it may have to be cut down. That's because Royal Farms wants to build their new location at a busy intersection in town.
And as Bob Trahey shows us, there are mixed reactions.
This huge southern pecan tree on the corner of State Highway 5 and Union Street could come down if a proposed Royal Farms is built at this location.
At 120 years, it's been here longer than anybody else in Milton. I don't know of any people that have been here 120 years. So it's in the historic district, and I think it's worth saving.
Kevin Fleming wants the tree to stay and believes the future construction at the site can work around it.
It's like they want to be good neighbors. They don't want to come in here and bulldoze everything. I don't think they do. It's nothing to their advantage to do that. So, yeah, work around the tree, save it.
Fleming is planning to take his opinion straight to the decision makers.
And then we're going to go to the developer, and then we're going to go to DelDOT and see if there's some way that we can do it. The tree's in a great spot to be saved.
This southern pecan tree that you see behind me stands over 100 feet tall. It's the tallest out of a handful across Sussex County. But history can be trumped by convenience, and Connie Murray, a Milton local, wouldn't mind a new Royal Farms, even if the tree has to go.
Well, I guess if they took it down, I'm okay with it, but Milton residents, I don't think that the town people, I'm not sure they're going to be real happy about that.
But she does have some other reservations.
Well, the entrance, you know, how the entrance is going to be, that's a big there, you know. If they can handle it with the light that's out there in the corner, fine. But if not, it's going to be a little tough because we are getting more and more people coming through here and trucks that come through here too.
Overall, Murray thinks most people will approve of the switch.
You know, you have ones that have come just recently in the past 10 years or so, they're not going to worry about it.
Because given the growth of the area, a lot of locals don't have the same deep roots that this big southern pecan tree does. In Milton, I'm Bob Trihey for Coast TV News.
Coming up tonight on DSN, your game of the night at 8 o'clock, UMES men's basketball hosts Cheney University. Then you can catch the final score at 10:30.
Some entertainment news now. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
You and I have unfinished business.
Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill came out in 2 volumes in 2003 and 2004. Now it's all coming together. Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair will unspool in theaters beginning December 5th as one movie, running more than 4.5 hours, including a 15-minute intermission, and featuring a never-before-seen anime sequence.
Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, that sounds like something, doesn't it?
The 1974 action comedy Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, starring Clint Eastwood and Jeff Bridges, could be getting a remake. The Hollywood Reporter says Ryan Reynolds is producing an adaptation of the heist flick, including collaborating on the script and considering playing one of the leading roles.
From the Big Freeze to the Great Thaw, life finds a way.
Prehistoric Planet Ice Age Season 3 looks at the post-dinosaurs Pleistocene era. Tom Hiddleston takes over narration duties from Sir David Attenborough. The 5-part new season premieres November 26th on Apple TV. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, we have a breezy, chilly day ahead of us, and it's only a taste of what's to come as we go into tomorrow. Temperatures hovering right in the upper 40s as those winds pick up under mostly cloudy skies. We'll talk about even colder air arriving tonight. I'll let you know how low those temperatures are going to plunge. We'll forecast after the break.
The time is now 5:48 a.m. as we're taking a live look into Ocean City. Still a little dark out. I'm sure that'll change when the sun comes up the next half hour, Chris. We're coming off a beautiful weekend, but we're expecting a pretty big chill this week.
Yeah, it's going to be a little shock to the system, I think, for some of us, because those temperatures are going to be falling quite rapidly through the night tonight, and then the wind chills are really going to be the story this time tomorrow. We have one last area of shower activity pushing offshore. We had a round of rain and even a few rumbles of thunder last night. There's the cold front pushing well offshore, but cold air sagging back to the south, and you can see the lake effect snow beginning to start with that Arctic air filtering over the warmer Great Lakes. We're going to pick up a good bit of snow actually across Chicago and portions of northern Ohio and Indiana as we go into the day today. And you can see that cold air mass sinking southward, 20 degrees there, Topeka, 31 in Nashville. And that is the air mass that's going to be moving into our neck of the woods as we go into the evening and by our Veterans Day. We're at 53 right now in Ocean City, so it's a rather damp start. We're at 52 Milton, 51 in Milford, and 52 in Georgetown. Winds right now sustained anywhere between about 12 to 16, and the winds are going to be picking up throughout the day today. Gale warning is up for the Delaware Bay down through Fenwick Island. This is up through midnight Wednesday, and those gale warnings extend southward from Ocean City to Chickateague, as well as through the Chesapeake Bay through Tuesday evening. And we have a freeze warning up for Accomack County. That is the last county that the growing season is still there, so that is why that freeze warning is into effect. Temperatures right in the upper 40s through the afternoon, and it'll be feeling a bit cooler than that with winds gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy skies to start. Clouds will break up through the evening. We'll call it partly cloudy overnight. A cold night as we dip. Many of us are going to be dipping below the freezing mark, and by the afternoon, we struggle to get out of the lower 40s with winds gusting upwards of 40 miles an hour, and will stay rather breezy into Wednesday as well. There's those winds today. Not too bad, 25 to 30, but as we go into tomorrow, you can see with the colder air in place, we're gusting to near 40 miles an hour. So really the story is going to be those wind chills. It's going to feel like anywhere between about 17 to 25 degrees come tomorrow morning. So dress accordingly. By the afternoon, well, we get temperatures in the 40s, lower to mid 40s, but with the wind, it's going to feel more like the mid 30s for most of the day tomorrow. But the good news is, if you don't like the cold, it's a short-lived cold spell, because we're right back up to 57 degrees into Wednesday. High pressure is going to be building into the region, and we're going to settle into a nice dry weather pattern for the rest of the week. We're at 53 today. Most of these temperatures came just after midnight. We're going to spend most of the day in the 40s, 29 for your overnight low, a cold breezy night, 45 for our Veterans Day. Cold and blustery conditions with those winds gusting upwards of 40 miles an hour. Wind chills in the morning, feeling like the teens. We're at 57 Wednesday. We stay sunny and dry through Thursday and Friday, and even this upcoming weekend looking very nice as well, with temperatures generally in the mid to upper 50s, and we look to stay pretty dry. I think the next chance of rain may not come until next Monday. Elisa.
Thank you, Chris. A tragedy 50 years ago in the Great Lakes, the fallout of the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Grace, might you take
And
that?
it resulted in changes in commercial shipping in those waters. And eventually, Lisa, the vessels that entered the Delaware Bay, and the Edmund Fitzgerald is the largest ship that's ever sank in the Great Lakes. Chris Collins was the engineer on the Lewis-based driver for 24 years, his first job in the late 1970s, after graduating from the Merchant Marine Academy with the Oglebay Norton, the manager of the Fitzgerald.
When I got there, it was mandatory that we all got survival suits. If a survival suit is like a wetsuit, it's to prevent hypothermia. And the union made sure that every ship, everybody had a survival suit on the ship.
And the tragedy is a contributor to having no large shipwreck occurring in the Great Lakes since the Fitzgerald. You can tune into Coast TV News this evening for more on the impact of the Edmund Fitzgerald shipwreck.
The time is now 5:53, and it's time for maybe our favorite part of the day,
Yes.
Elisa. It's time to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
And today's coastal pet of the day loves sitting in the window. On your screen right now is Murphy. As you can see, she's in her favorite spot, doing her favorite thing, looking outside. Murphy was submitted to us by Susan in Millsboro.
Thank you, Susan. Pretty little girl. We want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. You can send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. If you take a look at your screen now,
you can scan the QR code at the top of your screen and submit your furry friend to Coast TV News. Then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all of the pets we feature.
Well, we have a damp feel out there this morning. The remainder of the showers we had overnight are coming to an end. We're drying out but turning quite breezy, and temperatures hovering in the upper 40s through the afternoon under mostly cloudy skies, and it gets even colder overnight. We dip into the upper 20s to lower 30s. Wind chills by tomorrow morning are going to feel like the teens and 20s as a Arctic blast comes in for at least one day, 45 for our Veterans Day. But the good news is it is a short-lived cold spell, because we're right back up to 57 Wednesday, and we stay rather sunny and dry for the remainder of the week. So we just have to get through this cold here over the next 24 to 36 hours, and then we're looking much drier.
it's going to be like, get your winter
Said
coat
that.
on. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I mean, after this weekend, I was like, oh, it doesn't feel like it's
Yes.
November.
I know, it was nice, wasn't it?
It was too good to be
70
true.
on
Sometimes I
Saturday.
feel like it's hard to adjust living on the coast, and it's like you could go to the beach whenever you want to. It's hard to feel like it's really fall. So I think we're going to get our winter coats out for tomorrow, and then we're going to put them right back
Yes, I
away
have shorts
after.
and short sleeves on this weekend.
Yeah, you have to dust off that winter coat, especially by tomorrow morning. Teens,
Thank you,
20s.
Chris. Thank you, Chris. And coming up at 6, Rehoboth considers workforce housing. The Delaware State Housing Authority will brief city commissioners this morning on how the city could expand housing opportunities. All that and more when Coast TV News Today returns.